Alrighty, and don't forget to open a Word document to copy and paste resources and quick links as we move through the session. Where are you logging in? Of course, as I've already mentioned, what brings you to Job Club today? And what type of work are you seeking right now? Alrighty, be sure to do that. And if you have any, once again, if you have any questions during the presentation, feel free to put those questions there and we'll be sure to ask those to our presenter today. Alrighty. Okay, alrighty. So, of course, we are the Central Kentucky Job Club, and we're so glad that you're with us today. If you have any good news that you would like to share with us, have any interviews or anything like that coming up, be sure to share those also in the chat. Already. Okay, so we're gonna go back here, and let's see here. Just continue. Give a few more minutes here. We're gonna welcome you guys. Give you a few more minutes to come in. Alrighty. Alrighty. Okay, so welcome to Central Kentucky Job Club. All right, once again, Job Club is currently hosted in a Zoom webinar. Participants in the webinar can see and hear, they can see some of the questions that are going to be in the chat box there. So we definitely want to share that information with you, just so you know. Attendees are not active on mics or cameras. If you choose to participate in the chat box, your name will be public to the group. So we want to definitely let you know that, okay? All righty. Okay, and also, let's see here. We want to welcome you. Welcome those who are viewing on Facebook Live. If you would like to engage with the Job Club community and receive our Job Club lead newsletter, register at www.ukalumni.net/jobclub. Alrighty. Okay. Alrighty. And so let's see here. We're going to talk about who is hiring. Okay. Alrighty. So employers and recruiters are always welcome at Job Club. Always welcome at Job Club. We actually encourage that. So employer guests may have speaking privileges to share a 1-minute spotlight to share active job leads with the group later in the program. So be sure to hang around and definitely speak and engage with some of our participants today and talk about some of those leads. All right. Okay. And of course, we want to note here that some people in the webinar are conducting a confidential job search. Okay. And with that being said, let's be respectful of privacy for the job search and others. Alrighty. So check out job search related articles included in our Job Club reminder emails. Please keep engagement in the chat box positive. This is a positive platform and we're all so excited. We're definitely excited about today's presenter. And so you guys, once again, be active, ask those questions. I tell people no question is a dumb question, put it there. We're gonna ask it. It's definitely gonna be a great presentation today. Alrighty. And if you guys are ready, I'm gonna pass it along here. To our next speaker. All right, Diane.
Thanks, Nicole. Thanks, Nicole. And again, just a warm welcome to everyone. It's April. It's beautiful outside in Kentucky, and we are so happy that you are joining us this morning. And we have no doubt that you will be glad that you participated in this session. Just to tell you a little bit about how our program will be run today, we're going to talk about success stories. We have a great, very informative main speaker. We're going to be sharing active job leads and partner updates. And then at the end, we'll tell you what's coming next for Job Club. And this is the team who is behind the scenes. I am Diana Dogden. I am an extension agent in Fayette County, Family and Consumer Sciences. Caroline Francis is Director of Alumni Career Services, along with Amanda Shagney, who is Associate Director. And we have Nicole, whom you already met, and she is with UK Steps Temporary Employment. Ellie Goodman, Hannah Sims, they're behind the scenes. They're helping with all the facilitating of slides today with our speaker. And Suzanne Smith she is on board with Facebook Live. So she is helping us with that today, among a lot of other duties. The mission of Job Club is to provide a positive environment for job seekers to network and learn best practices for the job search. We meet on the second and fourth Tuesday of each month, and you can find the schedule of topics at www.ukalumni.net/jobclub. So we invite you to visit that website. Our current schedule is tentative as we are adapting to the needs of our audience, and we're still meeting via Zoom webinar because of the COVID-19, and hopefully we'll continue this venue as well, even when we get back in person. So again, I have welcomed you, and I've told you that I'm glad you're here, but I want to single out our first timers. And we are extremely happy that you have joined us for the first time, and want you to know that you will receive a follow-up survey later today. And this is important feedback, and it will help place you in our notification system for future programs. So that's our way to communicate with you with forthcoming programs. We want to always pay attention and give direction to our free Job Club resource packet. This is just a wonderful resource for you to visit and to participate and to take advantage of when we're not even in session. But go there, look at it. Again, it's at our website, and you're going to find amazing job search strategies, interview tips, staffing agencies, just lots of articles of interest. So it's just continue to look at it because we are updating it, and it's an amazing resource, and we're so glad we have it online now for your use. We want to tell you to join the Central Kentucky Job Club sharing community on LinkedIn. The address is there on your screen. It's www.linkedin.com/groups/1244760. And I mentioned that to tell you that even though we'll be sharing employment opportunities that have been provided for us today, later on this afternoon in our email newsletter, some of those come in the interim between our 2 weeks when we will meet again. So if you check out this LinkedIn site, you will learn of some new employment opportunities. And now it's a time when we just really, really value in person, but no more or less so virtually, and that's to share success stories. So we want to hear from you in the chat box what you have done during the past month, 2 weeks, or even longer. Tell us, update us, give others encouragement on what's working for you, and what has been your success in your job search. It doesn't mean you've landed a job. If you have, by all means, let us know. We'd love to highlight that. But it can mean a variety of successes. Reaching out and networking, updating your resume, just doing something new with your branding of yourself. Just anything that you've done in your job search and that has led you to feeling more prepared, or even having acquired an interview. So that would be a success story. So I'm just put those in the chat box. I'm going to acknowledge those. If you'll remember, our last session was about nonprofits. And so if there's been any engagement that you have sought out and found a positive result, then let us know about that pertaining to nonprofits. I've accepted a job that begins May 3rd. Oh, wow. And a thank you to Caroline for all the support And that's just awesome. That is awesome. We will want even more follow-up about that. And we just congratulations. That's exciting. Becca, we are just we're all applauding you right now. Let's see. I know that I got a job here at UK. Robin, wonderful. Wow, both of you. We'll talk to you later, but we would love to know more about your success, and we can even share that in a more meaningful way later after we talk to you. But congratulations today. What about the rest of you? It doesn't have to be a job landing. No, remember that. It can just be something that you feel that has advanced your journey, your quest for a job. Anyone had an interview? Any interviews that's taken place? Has anybody reached out to someone in their realm of reference, their network, to try to connect? Okay, we're probably being modest today, but because I know that you are. I know you're actively searching, and just doing that seriously on a day-to-day basis is a success. It means you're in the game, and it means that ultimately you will succeed. Last call for success stories. Okay. And we'll move on, and we'll get started with our session for the day. We couldn't be happier. And we have such great speakers. We normally say that, but honestly, Lisa James has been with us, has been with Job Club from the beginning. She's a wonderful proponent, and we just value any time that she will come and speak on an array of topics. And today is a really, really important one. Lisa, we thank you for coming. And I want to tell you a little bit about her. Lisa is the Senior Vice President and Division Director for the Lexington, Kentucky office of Robert Half. She recently celebrated her 25th anniversary with the company. For those not familiar with Robert Half, it is the largest specialized professional staffing firm worldwide. Lisa's division, Robert Half Finance and Accounting, specializes in the permanent placement of accounting and financial professionals. Lisa, welcome back. This will not be your last time, but it will be a very, very valued time, as we all are very, very interested, concerned, and want to know the do's and the don'ts of social media. So welcome, Lisa James.
Thank you. Thank you again for such a warm welcome. It has been a really wonderful relationship with your group. I recommend you guys to anybody that I talk to. I think it's just such a great resource that you provide to our community, and I'm really happy to be back again. So thank you guys again for the invitation. There's nothing else to tell about me. I appreciate that introduction. I think you've hit all the highlights. I'm excited to share this information. Today, we're going to talk about there we go. Okay, so we're going to talk about social media in your career. Obviously, we all are familiar with social media. Normally, I'm with you guys down at the Extension office, and I really enjoy being with everyone. I like these presentations to be very interactive, as if we're all just in a big conversation with each other. So I really welcome you guys to put any questions, those types of things in your chats, any questions that you have about social media. I'll kick it off. Let me ask the group, what type of social media do you guys interact with on a day-to-day basis? And then the other question that I'll ask is, how much time do you think you spend on social media per day? Okay, so I see LinkedIn and Facebook. Way too much time. I can understand that. It does feel like sometimes a rabbit hole. You start to look at one thing and then you look up and a half hour's gone by. I see Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Yep, those seem to be the main ones. So I think we're all on the same track, and we're probably all on the same types of mediums. And here we go. These are the things that we're going to be talking about today. So what we're going to cover today is what social media can do. We're going to talk about LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, the best practices. We're going to talk about building and managing social networks, social networking etiquette. There's certainly some rules of do's and don'ts from that standpoint, and then how social media can help or hurt your job search. So what can social media do for you? Social media, we use it today to share updates, ideas, images, and information. How do we do that? Well, we may share updates on our Facebook. We may share images on Instagram. We may share information. We may curate. If you're big on Pinterest, you may curate different things that are kind of telling about you as a person. Obviously, social media helps us to network with other professionals. What's, I guess, the main way that we're going to network with other professionals? Anybody have an idea? LinkedIn, I'm seeing that out there. Absolutely. So networking with other professionals, curating content. Again, that's where, you can curate content. When I think about curating, I immediately think of Pinterest, where you start to post things on your wall if you've got an event and those types of things coming up. You can curate content on LinkedIn. You can curate content even on your Facebook by, pulling articles, things like that are professional articles about different things that are happening professionally with your certification, with your career aspirations. So you can curate that on LinkedIn when you post your feeds and those types of things as well. And then you certainly can post and view multimedia. So there's a lot of different ways that are out there. Anybody doing anything kind of special or interesting with their social media today? Has anybody launched anything in particular with their social media? I see that somebody's asked, time for a Zoom chat. So are you doing that on social media, virtual coffees? I think that's a fantastic way to go. Absolutely. I think a lot of us have found that we can be very successful in working in a remote type of setting. And thank goodness for technology and social media today. So absolutely, I think meetings, I will say that the hiring business, and you guys have probably also seen this in your own searches. I'm sure the majority of you, if you've participated in interviews, a lot of you have done this type of interviewing like you've never done probably before. LinkedIn is, I think, ever so more important when you're not able to actually meet somebody in person. There's lots of different ways that you can kind of find out a little bit more about you. So I think social media is as important now as it's ever been. You want to keep your online networking active. You want to identify contacts. So make sure that you're continuing to add people to your networks and actively pursuing contacts. Make yourself a goal each week that maybe you want to add 10 key people to your contacts per week. You can research companies, add hiring authorities, individuals that have similar certifications to you. So identifying your contacts and keeping them current. You want to leverage existing contacts or join groups, just like Central Kentucky Job Club has the group that's on LinkedIn. That would be a great one to join. Leveraging your contacts, you want to be able to see who are they also connected with. So that's another one that's important and helpful from that standpoint. You want to stay in touch with your network. So staying in touch by commenting. If somebody has put out an interesting article, comment on it, keep it relevant, let them know that you're paying attention and that you're looking. And then you also want to be able to, continue to build your personal brand. How do you build your personal brand? By continuing to keep content and information that represents you well. They want to know, John, I like to follow him on LinkedIn because he always has an interesting article about interviewing tips and trends. That's building your brand. That's why people look out for your information. Any questions about any of that I can answer at this point? About how maybe you go identifying contacts or anything from that standpoint? All right, I'm going to keep going. If somebody has a question a bit later, I'm certainly going to go back and answer anything that you guys might want to cover. So let's talk about LinkedIn. Let's dive in there first. So a little bit of anecdotal information. LinkedIn is the world's largest professional networking site. I don't think that's too surprising. What I was interested to hear is there's 500 million members globally. LinkedIn, I think, is your first and best stop to be able to link, to network, to research companies, to research the people that you might be interviewing with, people you might like to interview with. It's actually out in 24 different languages, and there's an average of 250 million monthly active users. So it's a very active site in content, and it is the one that is primarily going to be used for your career search. Sorry, guys, my toggle's not quite keeping up with me. There we go. So the power of your profile. So LinkedIn is going to be where they're going to immediately meet you first. So what's going on behind the scenes? You send your resume to a company, they take a look at your experience that's listed. 9 times out of 10, I would dare say 9.5 times out of 10, somebody within that company is probably going to do a little bit of research on you. The first thing they're going to do is likely go to your LinkedIn profile. So one, you definitely want to have a LinkedIn profile. LinkedIn should act as kind of additional content and information about you and about, it's kind of like a living kind of active resume, dare say. This would be a great profile for LinkedIn. We see Jonathan Jacobson. We see his title, Editor-in-Chief, Content Marketing, Robert Half. He tells you a little bit about where he's located. This is a good immediate first impression from a LinkedIn profile. It's professional. It's more or less almost your elevator pitch. I've seen LinkedIn profiles where they may have, currently seeking a career in, so that's the immediate thing that somebody sees when they go and they look at your content. So this is probably something that you don't want to do. So you want to make sure that your profile is very, very professional. Alexi looks like she's a lot of fun, but I'm not so sure that that's exactly the professional profile that you want if you're looking to be the company's next executive assistant, the company's next engineer, whatever the case may be. This would not be something that you would put on your resume necessarily. Your resume is not necessarily the place for fun, anecdotal types of things. So you want to, again, keep it very, very professional. You do, however, want to be able to add a wow factor. And so what do I mean by that? You want to be able to post information about yourself, your accomplishments, those types of things, using kind of punchy, concise language to tell your story. I always recommend that you use action verbs, created, implemented, saved. Those types of things are kind of words that really jump out, that you're an action person, that if they're going to look to hire you, that these are the types of things that they can expect from you. You want to make sure that you fill out all of the fields. Don't leave anything blank. Don't miss an opportunity to talk about yourself and tell your story. You want to use keywords so people can find you. How do you pick keywords? Keywords are the words that you see most often that describe the position that you're looking for. Again, my background is accounting and finance, so I would use words like budgeting, forecasting, cost, month-end close, financial statement preparation. Those would be keywords that I would see regularly if I was looking for a position in accounting. So I want to use those keywords in my LinkedIn profile so that if someone is doing a search on LinkedIn to look for a viable candidate for an opening they have, they're going to easily find my information because I've used keywords that are germane to the type of position that I'm looking for. Again, you find those keywords by doing some research on a variety of positions that you're interested in. And those common words that you see over and over and over again, you're going to want to embed in your LinkedIn profile so that it's searchable. And again, you want to build a complete online portfolio. You can tell a story about yourself. You can talk about different things that you've done within your organization. Those are things that will really draw that attention that you don't have space for on your resume, but you might want to be able to convey to a potential employer. Anybody have any questions about that?
I do, Lisa, there is one question here.
Sure.
You want me to go ahead and ask it? It says, any advice to put as your title when you have a very long job title? Also, should we have a background cover photo or not?
Sure, those are great questions. Thank you for asking. I think if your title is very complex, um, I think it's important to try to match what may be on your resume. So if you have a very long title and you can somehow truncate it, that's fine. You want your title to maybe be searchable so that when I'm searching for an individual, I may be looking for a controller. I may be looking for a staff accountant. I may not be looking, and I might not find you if you list your title as director of accounting services, or something that isn't as common. So that's a great question. If you can make your title a little bit more common but still stay true to your function, I think that would be okay. But you also want to be careful that you're not doing something that's completely different than what your resume might show. Like, why would your LinkedIn profile show something completely different? You could perhaps, that's a great question, and I'm just kind of thinking through this. If you want to put controller and then maybe in parentheses what your actual title is, it's reflected on your resume, I think that would be fine, because then you would have that connectivity that basically my job is controller, but my company calls me this title. So that may be a route to go. Background pictures, I think, are fine. I see things oftentimes, the skyline of Lexington. I see things in the background photo that, might reflect the season, spring photo, those types of things. What I would stay away from is anything that you would also stay away from on your resume. On your resume, we all know the do's and the don'ts. The don'ts are the things that you don't say your marital status, that you have children, those types of things. So you would want to stay away from family photos and those types of things. You really want to think of your LinkedIn profile as an extension of your resume. Does that answer the question? Anybody else have any other ideas of what they're using on their LinkedIn profile that they've had feedback from that's been positive?
Okay, looks like we do have some questions popping in, but there was one question before that one.
Sure.
And a really, really good one. It says, please provide suggestions on what job seekers should put on their title on LinkedIn when they don't have a current job.
Okay.
So for example, when you see chief and editor.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I've seen a lot of people on their LinkedIn profile will put their most recent title, or it will be the title of their, again, their most recent position or the position that they're seeking. And then they may put in parentheses, seeking a career opportunity. So it can, that's okay. It's not saying that, on your resume, you would have on your resume that your most recent position was controller, even if you were in that position 6 months ago, that would still be on your resume. And then you would have the dates on that. As you look at your career history on LinkedIn, it would be very similar. So, who am I? I am Lisa James, and I am a recruiter. So, if I was not in that position and I was looking for a position and I wasn't in that job right now, I would still identify myself as a recruiter. What other questions do we have out there?
Sorry about that. We have one more, and of course, we'll let you continue on here.
Sure.
But it says, what do you recommend for using the About panel on LinkedIn?
Mm-hmm. That's a great question. So the About is really where you can tell your story. You can say a little bit about who you are. Again, you can talk about how you may be looking for a position. You can talk about your most recent career accomplishments. Anything that you would want to tell them. It's almost kind of like a mini cover letter that you might be sending in with a resume that would give you a chance to talk about yourself, to bring a little bit more depth to the experience and the list of career positions that you've had.
Okay, that's all we have for now.
Okay, great. Great questions, guys. Thanks. So on LinkedIn, you want to be truthful. Again, you don't really want to have anything on LinkedIn that's going to be a big separation from you on your resume. You want to do a professional looking photo. So again, it doesn't have to be a professional photo by any chance. It can be something that somebody takes on their phone and sends to you. But again, you want it to be a professional photo. Have it just be about you. Your LinkedIn profile really is just about you. You can certainly add a personal touch, again, kind of talking about yourself in the about section. That's completely fine. And keep it fresh, keeping it fresh by keeping your content current. If you've added some new skills, if you've added a new certification, make sure that you're adding that information. So you don't want your LinkedIn profile to get 6 months out of date and not being able to really show the best of everything that you can bring to an organization. Asking for recommendations and asking for endorsements. These are two very different things. And again, I know that I'm talking to an audience that's very familiar with this, but asking for a recommendation from someone, you're really asking them to do a little bit of a write-up. So that's a little bit more of an ask and an endorsement. An endorsement is a click. I endorse that they have system implementation skills. I endorse that they have great Excel skills. I endorse that they have great communication skills. You can click those things, and that's a pretty easy ask. A recommendation should really come from someone that is very much a trusted person in your professional network. Perhaps this is someone that you would also be using as a reference. Don't be offended if someone says no. Sometimes companies will not allow someone to recommend someone on LinkedIn. So it's not that they wouldn't want to. On LinkedIn, they can't really separate that personal from that professional. And also, before you recommend someone, make sure that your company doesn't have a policy about that. You can add a personal touch. And I'm really curious to see what people are maybe using when you're asking to connect with someone. LinkedIn is automatically going to give you the, LinkedIn members, I'd like to connect with you on LinkedIn. It kind of has that canned. But when you really reach out to someone on a personal basis, someone that you don't know that you really like to add to your network, adding that personal touch, I think, is important. Has anybody used anything that's been, I guess, more well received? Has anybody been able to connect with someone that you thought, oh, I'm really glad they connected with me? Maybe they weren't sure that they would, and maybe they used a personal invitation that they were pretty pleased with or got a good response on. Some things that I would recommend are, if you've met someone in a networking environment, if you were, dare say, a social gathering. I think we'll get back to that soon. I think we're starting to get a few more of those. But if you meet someone at a small gathering, remind them where you met, so that they can put that connection together. You can talk about, I'm looking for a career in a field where you are, and so I'd like to connect with you and possibly have a LinkedIn video coffee, just to be able to talk about your career and how I may be able to put my career in the same area. You want to join groups to expand your network and definitely stay in the know. Groups that you might want to join would certainly be things that would connect you to other things that are within your career path. So your certification, your industry, an industry that you'd like to be involved with. Again, Central Kentucky Jobs Club is a great group to join. I know that there is great content that changes each week. Jobs are posted there. So make sure that you're very active in joining different groups that can expand your network and help you to stay in the know. It also helps you bring good information to an interview. You talk in an interview, people want to get to know you. What do you do in your spare time? I recently read an article about this. I read an article about your industry. If you're in the know, it's just an easy thing to be able to see some of that content. And it's not this huge research project, because you're literally staying current. And that shows. And those are things that you can bring in conversation with regards to an interview. Anybody have any questions or feedback from that standpoint, or any success from that regard?
Hi, Lisa. We don't have a question right now, but someone did mention that mutual organizational involvement is always a great intro. An example would be Greek organizations.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. And that's another great way. When you're looking for your content, I was talking with some recent graduates that are getting ready to graduate. These individuals were with college in Louisville. It wasn't Bellarmine University, and that just has such a tight following. I know Transy has a tight following. University of Kentucky has a great following. That's a great way if you're looking to build your network where you have that common thread. It could be through your fraternity, through your sorority, wherever you have that commonality. That's a great way to just build that network because you automatically have that just that common interest. They've been successful. You'd like to have success like them. That's a great way to kind of build that network. You want to add value through consistency. You want to aim for 2 to 4 posts per week. So, even if you're not posting at all, even just doing 1 post a week is great. Some might say that you don't want to post every day. That can be a little bit much. But if you want to post a couple of times a week, and that's as much as reading an article and sharing it. Everybody's complimented when somebody shares something and then it's reshared. I think that's great. But again, it just shows that you're active and that you're providing good content. Here's an example, take a quiz to make sure that your cover letter, something that's interactive that kind of stays with someone is also kind of nice. Somebody that asks somebody to participate in something rather than just reading an article. So those types of things that are kind of interactive also kind of sticks with you. It's that kind of daybreaker that brought you some professional content, but still was kind of entertaining at the same time, just for some examples. You can share your perspectives with a LinkedIn video. This is something that I think is still kind of new and coming. I'm seeing more and more of them every day. I think that some of that has been coming out because we're sitting, alone in our offices at home. A lot of us are. And so, having that personal interaction with someone and watching them on a video, I think is becoming more and more commonplace. I have seen individuals actually post a video about themselves, kind of giving their elevator pitch about who they are and what they're looking for. So, people have again, you see this individual, professional background. They may perhaps be telling you about themselves and what they can bring to your company. So I think that's an interesting and new way that people are connecting with individuals. And then LinkedIn also has a mentor section. You can go to your personal page and you can click on career advice, and LinkedIn will actually connect you with a mentor list of individuals that are willing to be mentors that you could reach out to. Look to see if there's somebody on that list that's within your career path, at your level of career, whatever there might be in common. But that's a new service that LinkedIn has provided that I've seen some good success with that you might want to give a try. Any questions about LinkedIn before we move on to Facebook? Anything that we didn't cover that you'd like to talk about or would like to share with the group?
Okay. Don't see any coming in at this second.
Okay, fair enough. If you guys think of anything, certainly let me know. Let's talk a little bit about Facebook. I don't automatically think Facebook as career, but it is today's most used social media site. So if there are that many people looking at it, there's opportunity to certainly get your message out on Facebook too. And that's certainly not something to be overlooked, but it is something to probably use with some caution. For Facebook, you want to make sure that you're not blurring the lines between your personal and your professional lives. So obviously the photo on the left is your professional side. The photo on the right is you having a great time on vacation or out with your friends. If you're going to use Facebook from a professional standpoint, you want to make sure that everything that is in that content really reflects positively on you. So you want to make sure that you're not necessarily blurring the lines. You want to show good judgment. You want to make sure that the things that you are posting on Facebook are professional about you. This individual said, today's a beautiful forecast, so I called in sick to sit by the pool. Don't want a potential employer to necessarily see that, to know that when you call in sick, are you really sick or are you just sitting by the pool that day? So once again, you just want to be careful if you're going to be using Facebook that you do it in a very professional manner, because everything can be seen today online, as we know. Interesting information. Should you friend your boss or your colleagues? about half of employers say that they think it's somewhat appropriate. If you look across, they feel like Facebook, if you're going to friend somebody at work, Facebook is probably the one that everybody feels most confident about. As you go along, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat, not so much. Facebook is the one where people feel, most comfortable and most confident about that. I thought that was kind of an interesting statistic, and maybe because it's been around so long, it's just been more of that familiar content where the others are a little bit newer. But it seems like it's okay. And there's no right or wrong answer from that standpoint. Should you friend your boss? Again, no right or wrong. I think the interesting thing is you want to keep Facebook private. There's the private settings. That's probably a good idea. So only the people that you select can see what you're posting on Facebook. Just understand that as soon as you start to connect with people at work, your private's no longer private. There are certainly ways that you can, set up your Facebook settings so that you have your business contacts in one section to what they can see and your friends in another section to what they can see. But Facebook changes from time to time and those settings change from time to time. So you're always going to want to make sure that your settings are current so that you know who's seeing what. When in doubt, just keep it professional, keep it positive. Try not to go too far in one side of opinion to the other side of opinion. There's a lot of opinions out there these days. And so something that you might think you're benignly liking may end up coming back on you in a negative light that you would have never thought. So be careful from that standpoint. Always watch your settings. Make sure that you're keeping track of, again, any Facebook updates. Don't tag others without their permission. Again, if you were in a group, tag yourself. Other people, if they have, if they can see your Facebook, they can tag themselves. Don't do it for them. But certainly before you do, ask permission. If you are going to use Facebook, and it certainly is a way for you to get your word out there, again, just like LinkedIn, you want to create a complete profile. You want to include your professional history, make your career interests known to relevant people. Set an update that you're currently in a job search. You want to search for and follow individuals who work at companies that you're interested in. Again, a great way to network and maybe tap into what they know about the company. And you want to like company career pages to stay informed about new job openings, because companies also do use Facebook sometimes to post their positions. So it's another way to research a company as you're considering a place that you want to go to work for. Twitter users, you can write a short post or tweets of up to 280 characters or less. You can use Twitter. You can, some companies are using that to post positions. So again, it may be a good place for you to go and research about a company, see where they might be posting information or tidbits about their organization. Honestly, it's not something that I use in a robust fashion. But you can drive engagement to your Twitter feed if you're using that. You can put photos, videos, GIFs. Again, and you want to keep it very, very professional. You can follow industry experts on Twitter. You can look at professional associations. Again, potential employers may have a Twitter account, and some recruiters do also have a Twitter account. So you can certainly research it. I think that LinkedIn is probably going to be the best resource. It's going to be the most robust, but I wouldn't overlook it just in case there's content out there that can just give you that edge to get that job that you're looking for. Show that you're an expert. If you are going to be on Twitter, show information. Again, retweet other people's information. You can expand your contacts with Twitter. Again, just like the other sites, it's just a bit of a different medium to do that. Twitter tips, you want to introduce yourself. You want to find the right people. So again, if you're going to connect on Twitter, make sure that you're connecting with individuals that are influential within the industry that you're pursuing. You always want to be polite and professional, be natural. Adding visuals is always good. That just kind of sticks with people. Using hashtags that can be searched are great. Again, keep them professional. And then you want to pay it forward. If you've seen something that was really positive or you saw someone's post on Twitter, give somebody credit if you're retweeting that out. There are other social media networks out there. There's YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, Pinterest. They're all out there. They're all a part of who you are if you use them. So again, I just can't say this over and over again, a broken record. Make sure that the things that you're putting out there are very professional and reflect professionally on you. And then you want to be able to manage your network. You want to determine which people to let into your network. More is not always better from that standpoint. I don't think in a personal face-to-face network you can have too many, but in your social network, sometimes you do want to be a little bit judicious about who you let into your network, because that can sometimes reflect if their opinions can get to your feed in any way. And you want to set guidelines that best meet your needs. What are you looking for to add in your network? Any questions that we can go over at this point?
Yes, actually, perfect time. I'm just going to ask a question here.
Great.
I did have a statement about Facebook. We have let's see here, question that says, well, not a question, but a statement. I have a friend who uses Facebook as their networking platform. They've had great success in connecting with partners for their nonprofit and other initiatives.
Great.
Definitely wanted to point that out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and sorry, if you want to elaborate on that before I go to the question.
No, I think that's great. I mean, again, I always think LinkedIn, that's where I immediately go. I think Facebook, strictly personal, friends, family, who's had a new baby in their family, who's getting married, those types of things. But Facebook is a really great tool to be able to use for those types of things and be able to share content about nonprofits and different opportunities. So I'm glad to hear that there's that success out there.
Awesome. Okay. And so the next question kind of goes into the last slide about Twitter. And is it deemed negative if you do not have any social media accounts other than LinkedIn?
That's a really great question. And I'm going to say no. I think that you're fine. I think if your content is really LinkedIn and that, that's where you are professionally putting your professional self out there, I think that's fine. I think it's best, honestly, it would be better to have LinkedIn be your only than have a lot of other social networks out there that may reflect negatively on you potentially. So I think if you're going to have one, I think LinkedIn is a great one. And if you're going to have one, make sure that it's robust and that you're really using it to its best extent, like posting content, like liking content, asking for the recommendations, asking for the endorsements. I think make it as robust as possible. And I think LinkedIn is a good way to kind of show what you're interested in. So for example, how do you get to know me on LinkedIn if that's my only social media? Well, you're going to see my resume basically, because you're going to see all the places that I've worked and you're going to see all my keywords and you're going to see my title and you're going to see all those types of things. A little bit bland, but you're going to see my list. I think you get to know me by the content that I add. So if I'm interested in nonprofits, if I'm interested in, like for me, I love the Ronald McDonald House. I love to go and cook meals there. I love to support that organization. You might see content about that organization on my LinkedIn profile. That's how you'll know how I like to get involved in the community. If I like outdoor activity, then you might see me post an activity of, get up if you're working from home, get up from your desk a minimum of 3 times a day. You should be walking 30 minutes a day, so that kind of shows something about how I like to be active. So again, it's reflecting on me and a little bit about who I am. So I think that's a way to kind of let employers in on who they're talking to. Hopefully that answers the question.
Yeah, that's it for right now.
Okay, perfect.
All right.
So networking know-how, you want to name drop with permission only. So if you are networked with someone and you see that they're connected with someone, again, I'm going to use LinkedIn as an example. It's probably a good idea to say, John, I'd like to connect with Adam, who's in your network. Is it okay if I reach out to them and let them know that we are colleagues? So ask for permission only if you're going to use someone's name to connect with someone else. Be honest and upfront. If you're reaching out to someone because you'd like to connect, to network with them about opportunities within their company, let them know. Some people feel a little bit reluctant sometimes to do that. They feel, gosh, I don't want to bother them. Always put yourself in the other person's shoes. If you're sitting at a company and somebody connected with you and said, I've been following your LinkedIn page. I'm very impressed with your career and I'm looking to be on a similar career path. I'd love to network with you with regards to how you got there and certainly would love to know about any opportunities at your company. You probably wouldn't be off put by that. You'd likely be flattered and would certainly, and 9 times out of 10, connect with that individual. So don't be shy about asking and telling someone what you're looking for, and then act fast. And what do I mean by that? I mean, if you connect with someone yesterday at a meeting, you want to go ahead and connect with them tomorrow while they can still put that connection together. Don't do it a month later. Again, I think that that's, perception that, hey, you met me yesterday, you're already connecting with me today. You're really on it. I really like how quickly you connected. And yes, I immediately remember who you are. I was very impressed and continue to be so. So act fast when you're networking with someone. Don't abuse new connections. Don't hit them up, multiple times a week. It's fine to follow them and like certain articles, but you don't want to like everything that they do. So again, you don't want to overuse that. You want to be able to give to receive. If someone asks you for a recommendation, be willing to do something in return for them. Proofread. Make sure that again, you would proofread your resume 10 times. Make sure that you proofread what you're posting a couple of times before you post it, because once it's out there, it's hard to get it back off. And so you want to again make sure that you're doing everything very professionally from that standpoint. And again, you want to be discreet from that standpoint. Again, you don't want to put out there that you're searching for a job if you currently have one, because LinkedIn is visible to all. So you want to be discreet from that standpoint, but it's certainly okay to put your profile out there. I get that question a lot. If I'm looking for a job confidentially, should I have a LinkedIn profile? By all means, it's okay to have a LinkedIn profile. I think when it initially came out, people were concerned about that, but I think so many, as we saw the statistics of how many people are on LinkedIn, it's just a great networking site. So it's okay to have your LinkedIn profile out there. Job hunting, you want to check your digital footprint. So assume that when you send a resume to a company and they call you for an interview, you need to assume that someone on staff is looking you up. They're Googling you. They want to know who you are before you come through the door. And that's okay. You've put that information out there for public content. So Google yourself and see what you think of yourself with the content that pops up. Better yet, ask a trusted friend to Google you and say, hey, what did you find? If you didn't know me, what would you think of me? And if there are things out there that you'd like to make sure aren't the first page, then remove some pictures, remove some posts, those types of things that may go back several years ago if they're still relevant and not reflective any longer. Good idea to just check your digital footprint and see what would pop up if somebody ran a search on you. You want to keep your offline networking alive. You want to use social media selectively, but not exclusively. And what that means is, and again, this is something that I hope that we'll get more and more involved with again. I hope that the next time I get to see you guys, we're sitting in that room all together and we're having a really lively conversation and exchange back and forth. You want to, to the extent that we can, and being able to safely do that, don't just use social media in order to network. Go to different events that are hosted at this point. Again, when we can safely do that, make sure that that's top on your list to get involved in those kind of social networks. You can follow us on a variety of different ways, and I welcome you to do that. Robert Half does have really great content. Now, my division is accounting and finance, so everything that I do is strictly accounting and financial placement, but we have divisions that specialize strictly in technology placement. We have divisions that specialize in administrative placement, legal placement, creative placement, graphic designers, marketing content, social media developers. So we have a variety of different specialties. So follow us on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and hopefully you'll find great content that will help you with your search. Anybody have any questions? I really appreciate everybody's content. I hope this has been helpful.
Alrighty, looks like we did have another question as you were speaking. And that question is, actually it was regarding some information that you already shared. It's like this participant will ask if you could repeat where to find the mentor section on LinkedIn.
Oh, sure. It is, let me go back to that slide. It's on your homepage. So if you go to LinkedIn and you go to your homepage, there should be a section that talks about, I think it's career advice. And when you click on that, you should be able to follow the prompts and it'll send you to some information with regards to mentors. I think you can put in what you might be looking for. On that section, I believe you can also set yourself up if you are okay to be a mentor for someone or seeking a mentor, but it's at your homepage on LinkedIn. You just click on that and follow the prompts for, I believe it's under career advice.
Okay, alrighty, we do have another question that's popped up here. Let's see here, my formal title was Administrative Staff Officer, and I was responsible for accounting, finances, and human resources. What title can be comparable?
That's a great question. Let me ask, I guess my question would be, what position are you seeking? So in that particular role, is that the equivalent to a chief financial officer? A chief financial officer oftentimes has finance and administration that rolls under them, oftentimes has finance, human resources, and technology that rolls under them. So I would say put the title of what you're seeking, and then maybe in parentheses, again, refer back to the title that they might find on your resume or that they might see listed on your hiring profile, your employment profile on LinkedIn. It's a great question.
Alrighty, let's see here. If I could just have a few comments, but no more questions at the moment. Alrighty. Okay, no more questions at the moment. So,
okay.
Yeah. Alrighty. Okay, sorry. We have a question.
Okay,
here.
great. Bring it on.
Let's see here. Is there a way to not push through notices when you've updated your profile?
Not push through notices. I'm not sure. I know that, when in doubt, I always go to tools and I look through my notifications and just kind of trial and error that. That would be where I would go, but I honestly don't know the answer to that question.
Okay. Alrighty. Let's see here. Okay. How do you incorporate your initials if that's what you're known by?
Okay, so I would put my legal name. So if I was going to say, Lisa, then I would maybe put in quotes or parentheses LJ James if I go by initials. So it would say Lisa Prince LJ James if that's how I was typically addressed.
Okay, let's see if we have any more here. We have some thank yous here. Thank you for the great information. Let's see here. Okay, and then it's someone, let's see here, you can change it so that we can, okay, so what I'm talking about, okay, as far as the notifications, how you can change that.
Oh, good. Thanks for that feedback.
Yes, let's see here, but yeah, we're giving some thanks here. Any more questions? Anyone have any more questions here for Lisa?
I'll type in my email in the chat as well. If anybody has any questions offline or wants to send me a resume, I'm happy to review. Lots of things that I do. Again, accounting and finances are the types of positions that I'm seeking and filling on a regular basis. But I've been with Robert Half now. This is my 26th year. And so I do know a lot of contacts and I've talked with a lot of individuals. If you just have questions about your resume or how should I interview or how should I go about this, feel free to get in touch with me. I'm happy to set up some time to talk to you.
All righty. So you're getting many thanks here, Lisa. Continuously thanks. Great presentation. This was very helpful.
Thank you.
Thank you for the information that you shared. Great session. So yeah. Okay, you guys. So you've heard Lisa. If you want to, she'll place her email information, contact information here if you have any other questions. And yeah, we'll take it from here. Great presentation.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me again.
Alrighty. Let's see here. I believe it's Diane or Carolyn. I'm sorry here. It's gonna take over here for the next slide.
So who's hiring? Attendees, we would love just for you to share job leads and job targets via the chat box at this time. So if you have a job lead that you think someone might benefit from, please do that. And employers, if you have an active job lead, you can either click to raise your hand function right now, or you can email us job leads by noon today at ukalumnicareer@uky.edu, and we'll include them in our post-meeting job lead list.
Hey, Diana, it does look like there's an employer with their hand up.
Okay.
Looks like it's Laura Tucker. Laura, if you can hear me, I'm getting ready to promote you up to a panelist, and you should be able to unmute yourself from there. You're welcome to turn video on too if you like. Okay, looks like she's working on her audio here. Laura, if you can hear me, you should be able to go ahead. Oh, looks like she might have dropped off the call. That might have been an accident. Diana.
Okay, well, we do, go ahead.
No, that's the only hand that was up. You're good.
Okay, East Kentucky Power is looking for a tax compliance supervisor. East Kentucky Power. Do we have any other job leads? Any other employers that would like to announce? Well, we have already received some, and we will expect to receive even more by noon. So you will receive that list in your email message newsletter later this afternoon. Okay, now it's time for Job Club Facilitators, and that's news and programs. And we're going to hear from UK Steps. Nicole, you have anything to add today?
Alrighty, you guys, it's me again. And I am here to share some, let's see here, vacant positions here from Steps with the University of Kentucky. Let's see here, we have several. And so I encourage you, I know that the link has already been shared in the chat. So if you guys want to copy that link, I encourage you to just go to the website and view some of the postings there, some of the openings there. You'll have the ability to actually, their search engines, I should say, so that you can narrow down the search for what you're looking for. We are seeking currently staff admin supports, UK healthcare. Let's see here, a couple of LPNs, medical assistants. Let's see here, we have several program coordinator. Let's see here, data coordinator, COVID testing coordinator. Of course, that's still going on. You know, we're all grateful and thankful that things are calming down, but that's still going on. Patient registration, research assistant. I can go on and on. There are several. So I definitely, an accountant. I certainly encourage you guys to visit the website there and just look through there, see what you may be a good fit for, what may be a good fit for you. Alrighty, and I look forward to hearing from you. Alrighty, bye. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Actually, I'm not going to go too far. I do want to, as I spoke about those, I do want to definitely remind you guys about the next time on Job Club. So I know that it's been mentioned there in the chat also, but I just want to mention to you, let's see here, about the next Job Club. Let's see here. Oh, actually, no, I'm getting ahead of myself here. So let Diane get back, and then I'll speak more with you guys. All righty. All right. Thanks.
Thanks, Nicole. I do want to share a couple of extension programs, and I want to preface that with encouraging our audience to visit their local extension offices because spring has sprung, and there are so many wonderful spring and summer programming for consumers and families and youth, and you will want to definitely check those out. We have a wonderful series that is coming up, and it's entitled Playing the Hand You Are Dealt. This is going to take place April 20th through May the 27th. And no matter how bad it may be, there are times when we must make the most of our own situations. And the pandemic has left many of us trying to make sense of a range of loss and grief. So this 7-part series provides tips on how to help us move forward with hope and healing. And I'm going to mention two, they're in the chat box. Our kickoff is Living with Loss, Healing with Hope. And that's April the 20th at 7 p.m. We have Dr. Ted Bowman. He is an international speaker, and there's information about him in the chat box. Before we meet again, our first week session will have taken place. So you can register for that as well. And it's talking to kids and teens about loss. On April the 22nd, it's at 11 a.m. in the morning. And we have a couple of wonderful, very professional specialists at the University of Kentucky who will be conducting that session. So the information on how to register is online. And last but not least, I have a virtual cooking class tomorrow. And I would invite you to join it. It's lots of fun, and we'd love to have you prepare or learn how to prepare a dish or two, and even in time for lunch. So join me tomorrow, and the information again is in your chat box.
Good morning, everyone. A couple of upcoming programs from UK Alumni Career Services that you're welcome to join us for. You do need to register. Career Management Webinar Series next week is Coaching Skills for Leaders. And the last week of April, we're very excited about our first ever Leadership Week, crammed full with lots of mini workshop presentation, panels, breakouts regarding all aspects of leadership. We encourage you to go to our website to register for those as well. I also would like to encourage you, as you land jobs and your companies are hiring, please let us know. Pay it forward. Let us know when you hear about job leads so that we can post those on our LinkedIn group and just pay it forward for others. I'll turn it back over to Nicole to wrap us up today.
Alrighty, you guys. Okay, so yeah, as I've already mentioned, you guys definitely visit the employment website, or jobs website, I should say, for steps, and take a look at all the different leads there, not only for healthcare. I believe a majority of the ones that I mentioned were for healthcare, but also for campus. Alrighty. And let's see here for the next time on Job Club. Can't wait to be a part of this here, or I should say, listen to all these great speakers. On April 27th, job search tips and strategies from a panel of regional recruiters and HR professionals. And I'm so excited because one of our coworkers will be here. Let's see here, I have Jared Wilcox, Summer Jitson, Audrey Murray, and Mike Henderson. And so we definitely encourage you guys to register here. Come back for a great session from a great group of panelists. So once again, you guys, just thank you again to all those who are new to Job Club. Welcome again, and thank you for being a part of Job Club today. And we definitely look forward to meeting with you guys again. Have a great day.